Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're on part 4 of our race car design. It's the axle. This is a pretty quick and easy one. So we're going to demonstrate how to make the axle, and then we're going to actually do a little demo on converting this uh, from a part studio to a assembly. So here we go. So here's our axle drawing. You see our axle drawing is not super complicated. The axle is a circle that has been extruded to a distance. So you can see the diameter symbol here. That's the circle with a line through it. And the center mark symbol. This is a leader line. Tells you, hey, I'm pointing at a round feature. So what do we got for a measurement length? 0.180 inches, 180 thousandths diameter. So diameter is distance all the way across. Let's go ahead and create that part. We're going to go ahead and create it in place just like before. And so we're going to create a sketch on the side of the car. And we're going to draw a circle. We'll zoom in a little bit and find ourselves. Let's go ahead and find the center. So there's a midpoint there. There's a midpoint there. So I bring my mouse to where that midpoint extends and click and release. And then click and release. And what did we say the number was? 180 thousandths. So let's give it a dimension. So with the dimension tool, click and release. Again, get that off the part. And 180 thousandths. There's your sketch for the axle. We're only going to make one axle now because we have nowhere to put the second one. This will get us started. So there's the first axle. And we're going to go ahead and extrude that. Click on the surface. And we have a couple different ways we can go about this. We can extrude it in both directions. We can do it as 2 extrusions, or we can do it as 1 extrusion. We're going to do it as 1 extrusion and just leave it crooked for the moment. So I'm going to change the direction. And we're going to read our overall length, which was 2.480 inches. 2.480. And you'll see that it automatically goes with a new part since we're not touching any of the other parts. Don't forget to name it. And there you go. So that's not centered yet. And we will center that in another part of the video. So let's go on, pause for. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and make this axle, which is part number 4 in our model. And when we go ahead and take a look at this axle, we can see that it is going to have to stick out from the chassis of the car a little wider, and probably want that to be evenly split between the 2 parts, so that we have room for the wheel on either side. Got 2 wheels, probably want the same size, so we probably want the same amount of axle on both sides. So when we do this, we're going to draw that axle so it sticks through the hole we created earlier. And we're going to have to figure out how to get that right. So here's what it did. Sketch the system from above. So you can see the rear hood sketched from above, and the axle sketched from above. I left out some of the dimensions, but just the important ones for this activity are included. So the rear hood is 1.180 inches wide, and the axle was 2.380 inches wide. Of course, we want them to be even. We got to figure out how in the world we're going to get that centered off. Well, we need to offset that, and we need to offset that by the difference between the 2 sides. So subtract the little part from the big part, and then divide that by 2. So we're going to go ahead and do that here. We're going to go ahead and produce a plane to draw on. So when you first open up Onshape, you can see that it comes with 3 default planes. We can create new planes just by tapping the plane button, and I'm going to tap the side of the vehicle, and then we're going to use our sketch notes here, and we're going to figure out what that distance is. So 2.380 minus 1.180 divided by 2. Just going to type that in. 2.380 minus 1.180 divided by 2. And that gives us the offset distance for the axle. I'm just going to title that axle. And then view normal to. Oops. Tap the N key to view normal to. Now we're going to go ahead and produce a sketch. Hit that create button. We're going to produce a sketch on that axle plane. Sketch on the axle. If your axle plane didn't show up, you just click the little eyeball down here to turn it on if it's invisible. And we're going to call that axle. Then tap the N key. I'll go ahead and draw a circle. And we'll just guesstimate here. Give it a dimension. Don't worry too much about the placement, just get it close. What was that diameter? 180 thousandths. There you go. And finish the sketch. Now we can extrude that. Click on the area of extrude, change the direction, and that width, according to our sketch, was 2.380 inches wide overall. 2.380. That's the axle. And that's a new part, so hit the green check, and you'll take a notice that that is not evenly split. My axle plane is still turned on, so just tap the little eyeball next to the axle plane, and it'll shut off. That is how you make the axle. We'll do the same thing for the axle on the front end after we get the front hood created. All right, that wasn't so hard. So, learn a little something new in this activity. Just like before, we did a sketch and an extrusion, but here we utilize the plane tool, allows us to create a new place to work on that was offset from the original object. So we're able to create that new plane, the new work plane out there, sticking out away from the existing one. And we did that by utilizing the offset tool. We did the math, and we were able to use the field where you fill in the answer here to actually do it as a calculator. There's a bunch of cool tools you have access to. Well, anyway, without further ado, keep on keeping on. As always, you keep being awesome.